All right, everyone, welcome in, welcome in. Here we are live. Just to make sure everyone can hear me okay. If someone could just kind of in the chat or in the Q&A, give me the thumbs up just to make sure you guys can all hear me all right and see me all right. See my screen with our 6-month Hashimoto's plan. So if you're here in the Zoom, there should be a chat function or a Q&A at the bottom. If you can just kind of give me the thumbs up that you guys can hear me okay, or raise a hand so that way I know I'm coming through loud and clear. Awesome. Thank you, Laura, my savior. All right. Beautiful. So let's get right to it, gang. Let me see here where we got going on. All right. Beautiful. All right. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of this. Beautiful. All right. So here we are, the 6-month Hashimoto's reset. Welcome in, everyone. My name is Dr. Benedetto. Most of you who are here probably know me already or have seen me or heard of me or your patients of mine, honestly. But for those of you who don't, yes, my name is Dr. Ray Benedetto. I'm seeing Hashimoto's patients for a long time, and I'm super excited today to bring this program to light. Something quite frankly I've never had before was something like this. And it's something that I know my patients and my audience and my community needs. And I honestly never had it until today. So the only way you could ever work with me or get any of my help or get access to any of my treatment protocols and what have you is if you were, a one-on-one patient of mine, right? And concierge patient of mine where everything's individualized and one-on-one care and personalized plans and honestly that's still the best way to get the job done, but there's a lot of people who just didn't want that or couldn't afford that or that's not what they were looking for, so I've had a lot of people asking for something like this. So I've been working really hard behind the scenes over the last couple of months to put this together. And so thanks everyone for joining here today on this info session where I'm going to kind of run through what it is. And it's a 6-month program that I've put together, treatment program for Hashimoto's that I call the 6-month Hashimoto's Reset today. All right. And so we're going to go through it today. There's going to be time for Q&A. I promise you. We'll get to all the questions that anybody has here live. So let's get to it. All right. Now, so what we're going to talk about today, the 6-month program that I put together, the 6-month Hashimoto's Reset, why your immune system has turned against you, because that's what we're talking about here, and a step-by-step plan to turn it back. All right. Now, before we dive in and do anything, before I teach you anything today, I want to say something that you probably have never heard from a healthcare provider ever, or maybe in a very long time. And honestly, that is, I believe you. Okay. I believe that you're exhausted in a way that sleep just doesn't fix. I believe that your joints ache in the morning and nobody takes it seriously, right? Because your labs all come back within range or they're normal. I believe that you've sat in doctor's offices, plural, offices, described your symptoms that are just ruining your quality of life and been told, literally told with a straight face from your doctor that, well, everything looks fine. Sorry. I believe that you've tried elimination diets that helped for 2 weeks and then stopped working, right? And you didn't know what else to do. I believe that you've Googled your symptoms at 2 o'clock in the morning, wondering if you're losing your mind. Okay. I believe that you've canceled plans because you woke up that day and your body decided it's not happening today, right? Without warning. And I believe that somewhere along the way, you started to, unfortunately, sometimes accept this as the normal. You're like, well, I guess this is my new normal. I don't know what else to do, right? So you stopped even telling people how bad it really is. You just adjusted your life around the symptoms and around the condition instead of really demanding better answers, all right? I'm here to tell you that that stops today, okay? Because what I'm going to show you in the next 20 minutes is not another supplement to try or another food to cut out. It's the reason that your immune system turned against you in the first place and a structured step-by-step plan to reverse it over the next 6 months. All right. Now, here's what the conventional model, the conventional medicine, right, wants to tell you about autoimmune disease. That your immune system is broken, it's attacking your own tissues, right? Your own yourself. We don't know why. It's genetic, it's permanent. Best we can do is suppress your immune system with medications so it's attacking you less aggressively, right? So it's not attacking you as hard. That's the model. That is conventional medical treatment for autoimmune disease in general. We're talking about Hashimoto specifically today, right? Diagnose the damage, suppress the immune system, hope to manage it for life. Okay, now what I want you to hear is what they're actually saying is, listen, we've given up on finding the cause, so we're just going to try and turn down the volume on your immune system and hope that the side effects are manageable. You guys have heard of them all, right? You've probably taken half of them. Methotrexate, prednisone, Humira, Plaquenil, new biologics that they're coming out with every day that cost thousands of dollars a month. These drugs don't ask why your immune system is attacking you. They just try to stop it from attacking you so hard, right? Or so aggressively. And for some people, these drugs are necessary. I'm not here to tell you to stop your medication. What I am here to tell you is that suppressing the immune system without addressing the actual underlying cause, the reason that it's attacking you in the first place, is like putting a piece of electrical tape over the check engine light in your car and calling it fixed. Okay. There's a reason your immune system turned on you. It didn't happen randomly. It wasn't bad luck. Sure, you may have had a genetic predisposition that kind of loaded the gun, but something pulled the trigger on it, right? You weren't born with Hashimoto's. In functional medicine, our job is to find out what pulled the trigger and remove it, right? And when we do that systematically in the right order over enough time, something remarkable happens, right? The immune system calms down, not because we suppressed it, but because we removed the reasons it was fighting against you in the first place. Now, let's get to work. There are three things that are driving your autoimmune condition, your Hashimoto's, right now. Your conventional doctor is probably addressing zero of them, right? So we're going to walk one by one through each one and why it's so important and why we have to do these things in this order. All right, let's get to work. All right. Number one, your gut is compromised, right? 70 to 80% of your immune system lives in your gut, right? Read that, listen to that again. Okay, I'm going to say it again. Roughly 70 to 80% of your immune system, your entire immune system, lives in your gut. Okay. The majority of your immune function is not in your blood or your lymph nodes. It's taking place along the lining of your intestinal wall. Okay, so when that gut lining becomes damaged, and it does become damaged from chronic stress, processed foods, medications like over-the-counter NSAIDs and antibiotics and infections and environmental toxins, right? Something takes place called increased intestinal permeability. Most people call it leaky gut, right? You've probably heard it called that before. When that happens, what happens? Proteins, bacteria, food particles that should stay inside of your digestive tract start leaking through the damaged gut wall into your bloodstream. And then your immune system sees that, identifies these particles, and correctly identifies them as foreign invaders. And so it mounts an attack, right? To protect you. But here's the devastating part, right? And this is going to sound crazy, I know, but this is what happens. Some of those food proteins, bacterial fragments, chemicals, some of them look very structural, like on a molecular level, on a cellular level, they look very similar to your own tissue. Looks like your thyroid tissue, your joints, your myelin sheath, your coating of your nerves, right? Your skin. This is something called molecular mimicry. I've spoken on this many times, so you may have heard me talk about this before. It's called molecular mimicry. Okay, your immune system is trying to protect you, but instead it's hitting friendly targets like friendly fire because the signals are all scrambled up in your immune system. So until the gut is repaired, this is why it's number one. That's why we're talking about this number one. Okay. Until the gut is repaired, that immune confusion is going to continue. Okay. No amount of suppression of your immune system is going to fix a leaky gut. Okay. That's driver number one. That's why we have to address it and fix it first. Okay. Driver number two, hidden infections. This is step two. Okay. So something that, and this is something that most people have never even been tested for, right? Maybe a little bit, like scratch the surface. Oh, my doctor ran Epstein-Barr titers or something. This is something most people have never tested for. Chronic low-grade infections. Pathogens that have taken up residence in your gut and in your tissues. Parasites, bacteria, right? Overgrowth of bacteria, candida, viral infections like Epstein-Barr virus that went dormant years ago but are quietly or have been quietly reactivating over time. These organisms do two things that can fuel the autoimmune process, the Hashimoto's. Number one, they create constant inflammation, right? Your immune system is always turned into the on position because there's always something to fight. So that chronic activation of the immune system, it's exhausting and it leads to that confusion or that misfiring, but it also leads to that chronic inflammatory process, right? Which is a vicious cycle. Secondly, some of these pathogens have surface proteins, right? That mimic your own tissue. We just talked about it, right? It's that molecular mimicry that I just described. So your immune system attacks the pathogen and your own body tissue because it can't tell the difference. It gets caught up in the jet wash, gets caught up in the friendly fire. Now, these infections, many of them don't show up on standard blood work. They require specific functional testing and a practitioner, like a doctor who knows where to look. And then they require someone, a practitioner who knows when you find them, what to do about them, right? It requires a specific systematic elimination protocol, not a 10-day course of antibiotics. Driver number three, something called total inflammatory burden. Think of your body like a bucket. Okay. Every stressor adds water to that bucket. Poor sleep, blood sugar swings, environmental toxins, emotional stressors, food sensitivities, hormone imbalances, nutrient deficiencies. I can go on and on and on. Right. And so what happens when that bucket overflows, right? So each one of those things adds more water to the bucket. Eventually the bucket's going to overflow, right? And your immune system, again, loses that ability to distinguish between real threats, real bad guys, and your own tissue. So this inflammation becomes systemic. It stops being something targeted, and you start experiencing this systemic inflammation everywhere, all over your body. That's why autoimmune patients, Hashimoto's patients, often have multiple symptoms across multiple systems, right? Brain fog and joint pain and skin stuff and fatigue and digestive problems. They're not five separate issues. It's in one bucket that is overflowing. Okay. Now, the solution is not to treat each symptom or each problem individually. That's what medicine does. It doesn't work, right? The solution is to drain the bucket systematically, layer by layer, in the right sequence. That's what we're talking about today. All right. Gut damage, hidden infections, inflammatory overload. That's what's driving the bus. These are the drivers that are present in virtually every single Hashimoto's patient I've worked with over a very long period of time. And none of them are addressed by the conventional model. Heck, my previous iterations, you saw me 5, 10 years ago. I wasn't doing this right either. That's why I'm doing this now, is to get better and to offer a lot of people a great solution to get their Hashimoto's turned around. Here's the good news. All three of them are very addressable, right? And that's exactly what this 6 month program that I've put together was designed and built to do. All right. Let's talk a little bit about now, before I walk you through this program, I need to address something important, right? Let's talk a little bit about the length of time. Okay. Because some of you, I know, you've done other functional medicine programs and approaches. You did an elimination diet, you took some supplements, you did some initial testing. Maybe you felt better for a few weeks, then it all came back. Okay. Look, I've done this 6 week plans, 12-week plans, 16-week plans, you name it. Okay. Here's why that happens, though. Here's why that scenario plays out. Short protocols. This is what I found. This is why I'm introducing this program. This is why I'm doing it this way now for better results for my patients. Short protocols fall short with autoimmune conditions like Hashimoto's because autoimmunity is not an acute problem. It didn't come on in 6 weeks. It's not going to go away in 6 weeks, right? It's a chronic dysregulation in the immune system that has developed over years, sometimes decades, right? The gut damage didn't happen in a month. It didn't happen in 6 weeks. The infections didn't arrive last Tuesday, right? The inflammatory overload has been building since long before you got your diagnosis and probably even a lot of your symptoms, right? So someone hands you a 30-day protocol or a 6 month protocol or a 6 week protocol or a 3 month protocol. Here's what actually happens physiologically inside your body, right? The first 2 weeks, inflammation is going to start dropping, right? Because you've removed some triggers, you feel a little bit better. You're taking some anti-inflammatory supplements. Weeks 3 to 4, right? So the and by end of that first month, the gut is beginning to respond, right? It's nowhere near healed, but it's starting to get better, and the pathogens are still present, right? Parasites, what have you. Weeks 5 through 6, you've made some surface level progress, right? The program ends, or you go back to life without any kind of structure, right? Even if this pushes out 3 months, right? Even if we push out like 8 to 12 weeks, same thing. It eventually ends. We haven't finished the job. We've gotten some surface level improvement. Symptoms start to return, often worse than before, and you conclude that, well, functional medicine didn't work for me, or this program didn't work for me. But in reality, it really didn't fail. It was just never given enough time to succeed. Okay. Gut barrier repair takes 8 to 12 weeks. Consistent intervention. Okay. This is what I have found. Pathogen elimination, parasites, that kind of thing, requires sequential protocols over months. You can't kill parasites, address candida, and clear bacteria all at the same time. Okay, we have to do them one at a time. Recalibration, right? We got to get the immune system fixed working again. After years of not working properly, requires sustained reduction in these inflammatory triggers, not just a temporary pause, right? So 6 months, what we're talking about today, what I'm doing now, it's not excessive for recovery from Hashimoto's or any kind of autoimmune situation. It is the minimum effective timeline, right? So I want to be completely transparent with you. 6 months is the foundation. That's what we're talking about today. Everyone needs to build the foundation. You can't build the rest of the house without the foundation, right? That's why you haven't had success up until now, even in other programs. Okay, even in some of my patients over time, right? So for many people, honestly, that 6 month foundation alone can be life changing, right? But true autoimmune recovery has layers. So beneath the gut, there's obvious infections. There are a lot of times stealth pathogens like Epstein-Barr that we talk about, mold and mycotoxins, heavy metals, environmental toxins that have been building in your body and in your tissues for decades, right? So these deeper layers cannot be safely addressed until the foundation is solid. That's what the first 6 months is. That's what the 6 month program is for. So for those of you who are completely committed to your recovery and not just improvement or resolution, we have some advanced I have some advanced programs after the first 6 months that extend beyond that timeline. Each one kind of gets deeper and deeper and deeper. Um, you know, that's not the purpose of today's discussion. We can always have those down the road, but that's not till at least the first 6 months is done. It all starts here. Okay, you can't do that cool stuff until you lay the foundation. So that's why this program exists. Okay. Now, let me walk you through exactly what happens inside of this program that I just put together and rolling out month by month, right? So I'm not going to give you some vague framework. This is going to be like structured, detailed clinical framework so you know exactly where you are along the way at every stage. Okay. The first 2 months, one through months one and month two, okay, are all about reducing chaos. That's what I like to call it. Reducing chaos. We're not chasing symptoms yet. We are creating conditions for your body to stop attacking itself. Okay, so what do we do? So we get started, right? What you do is you will complete, and all my patients who are already working with me, I've kind of grandfathered them into this protocol because it's all new. They've never even had it before. So I'm working all my existing patients into it now. Anybody new, you get this right from the start. I've built out a private app. It's called the Thrive 9 app. It's a private app. I don't My patients have access to it. And I've developed a bunch of assessments, right? Because we have to be able to measure baseline and progress along with labs and stuff like that. So there's a couple of baseline ones, one for inflammation, one for gut, one for hormone, one for stress. And then we can score them. They give us objective scores of exactly where you're at, where the damage is, how severe it is. Okay. You begin a comprehensive elimination diet. I walk you through it step by step, removing foods that are most commonly a problem, right? And can cause that molecular mimicry. Gluten, dairy, soy, corn, eggs, sugar, processed foods, sometimes nightshades, sometimes lectins, nuts and seeds, peppers, that kind of stuff. Again, we individualize this for every patient. We need to open up the drainage pathways so your body can eliminate anything that it needs to get rid of, right? So we need to get the bowels fixed. We need to have good regularity, get lymph moving, liver support. We need to begin replenishing critical nutrients that get depleted in Hashimoto's, right? Methylated B vitamins, vitamin D, magnesium, omega 3s, um, micronutrients. So we start with those things right away. And we start addressing the stress response, right? We have to get right to work on that. Cortisol stress is the gasoline on the fire. Okay. So it fuels this intestinal permeability, right? The leaky gut and the immune system. So we got to start handling those things month one and two. What will you start to notice? Man, my energy's starting to feel a little bit better. Like it's not crazy, but it's getting more consistent. My sleep is improving. My bloating is reducing. My brain fog is lifting. A lot of the musculoskeletal pains, joint pains, that kind of stuff are getting better. Again, digestive habits, bowel regularity are improving. This phase is not about transformation. We're not there yet. It's about stability. It's about calming the chaos, bringing stability to your body, lowering the water level in your bucket, right? Lowering the load in your bucket so the immune system can take a deep breath. Okay. Then we move into the second part, right? So months 3 through 4. Now we go after the hidden guys. We go after the hidden drivers. We begin targeted pathogen elimination. Parasites, candida, bacterial overgrowth, using a sequential antimicrobial protocols and biofilm disruption. Okay, some herbals and different combinations of things. It's precise. It's not super aggressive. Okay, and we address one layer at a time. We get here, you'll perform another assessment through the Thrive 9 app, which is a detox assessment to make sure that your elimination pathways can handle getting rid of all this stuff, right? Especially any kind of die-off that we may experience from these organisms. Herxheimer reactions, you guys have heard of these things. The the repair in the gut barrier now is going to start to intensify, right? So we're going to add in some specific compounds to rebuild the intestinal lining. Things like L-glutamine and zinc carnosine, immunoglobulins. We're going to do a sleep assessment, Thrive 9 again in the app, sleep assessment, right? That's going to guide we're going to optimize your ability to recover, sleep better because your immune system does all this repair work while we're sleeping. Okay, supplement protocols become more targeted based on your individual assessments and your results and what your body is telling us, right? And what it's showing us is going on. What happens here? We're going to see decreases in the flaring of the autoimmune symptoms. Energy much more consistent. Digestive function noticeably improved. Okay, mood is more stable. Inflammatory markers are improving, right? Especially if we're tracking those through labs. Some die off symptoms, right? As we eliminate pathogens. This is temporary and we'll make sure we manage it. But this is the phase where most shorter programs have already ended. This is exactly where your immune system is starting to get its feet under it again, starting to get some traction again, and be able to figure out this is a good guy, this is a bad guy. So stopping here is like leaving a surgery when we're only halfway through, right? All right, home stretch. The final phase of this protocol is months 5 through 6. It's all about restoration, restoring, and protecting. Okay. Now, what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be doing strategic biome rebalancing, right? So we need to rebuild the gut bacteria, right? To help support our immune system. These are the organisms that teach your immune system what to and what not to attack. Probiotics and prebiotics, right? Prebiotic feeding protocols so the good bacteria thrive long term, right? Careful food reintroduction, guided by your assessments, not guesswork. Okay, discover exactly which foods by reintroducing them systematically, your body can tolerate which ones are still causing problems. All the baseline assessments in the Thrive 9 app are repeated. So we got a complete before and after picture. Okay, you'll see your inflammation score, your gut score, your hormones, your stress score. We see all of those things compared to month one, and the improvement is objective and we can measure it. And you'll see it. You feel it, but you see it. You need to establish a maintenance protocol moving forward now. What foods am I going to be eating? What foods am I not going to be eating? What are the habits and things that I got to keep doing to keep my immune system calmed down? Okay. Your body enters what we consider, what we call consolidation, right? The nervous system learns this new state of reduced inflammation is the new normal, right? Not this constant fight or flight all the time, putting out fires. So your risk of relapse drops significantly. Okay, what do we experience here? Sustained symptom remission, not just improvement now. Now we're seeing sustained relief. Confidence in your body for the first time in years, right? A clear understanding of what your triggers are and how to avoid them. A maintenance plan you can follow independently. You don't need me to hold your hand to do it. Objective data proving the changes that we've made, right? By the end of month 6, you're not the same person who walked in month 1, not because of one magic supplement or one magic diet, but because we addressed all three of the drivers, gut, infections, and inflammatory load in the right order with enough time for your biology, your body to actually respond. For those whose assessments reveal, oh man, there's still things we got to do, dormant viruses, heavy metals, mold, what have you. We've built this foundation over the first 6 months. Okay, then we can keep going and do a deeper dive into some of those things. And then the question there is, okay, well, are you good here or do we want to keep going? How deep do we want to go? Now, I want to take a moment, talk about something kind of before we get into the details of just beyond like lab scores and supplement protocols, because look, I know that my wife has Hashimoto's. That's the reason why most of you know my story. Like I do this and we're having this conversation today is because we live it. And so I get it. Like autoimmune diseases, Hashimoto's doesn't just affect your body. It affects your life, it affects your identity. Okay. When you live with a condition that flares up unpredictably, right? You stop making plans. You stop committing to things. You develop this backup personality, right? Like one that just cancels and one that apologizes and one that says, I'm fine when you're not fine. Okay. You stop trusting your body, right? You stop trusting your body you don't know what it's going to be doing on any given day. So you start shrinking away from life, right? Stop living life. Now, what what I've seen and what will happen over the next 6 months consistently is not just symptom improvement. It's that return of that trust in your body, right? Someone who has Hashimoto's who stopped canceling dinners, who started hiking again. Person who made plans for that trip. Hey, I want to go on that trip in 3 months and actually went on that trip, didn't have to cancel, right? Trust that doesn't come from a pill, comes from watching your own assessment scores improve month after month and feeling it. Comes from waking up and realizing you haven't had a flare up in 6 weeks. Comes from having a structured plan that tells you exactly where you are and what comes next. That's what this program is designed to give people. Not just hope, but real lasting relief and measurable change along the way. All right. So let's talk about the details. All right. Let me show you exactly what enrollment looks like and what you get today. Okay. This is 99 bucks a month. All of this stuff. You're not going to find this anywhere else, guys. I've really tried to go the extra mile to make this affordable and give you everything you need to do this, right? So this foundational program is a 6 month guided protocol. I'm the guide. I've I've gone through and I've recorded myself. I actually came up with a coach, an avatar coach. Her name's Coach Rachel. But it's all of my stuff that she teaches, and she takes you through guiding the program. So what I've done is I've broken it down into there's 72 different videos, right? 72 videos. There are three per week. Okay. Every Monday, it's action steps. Like, here's what I got to do this week. Every Wednesday, it's, hey, here's a short video on the science behind everything we're doing this week, why it works and how it works. And then every Friday is an accountability check-in at the end of the week. Okay. These are not generic wellness videos. They're sequential clinical protocol. It's the same thing that I do with my patients in the office clinically that is this, then this, then this, then this, specifically for this type of recovery that we're talking about here. Okay. Everyone gets going today. Um, Thrive 9 assessments, right? They're all loaded up. You know what? Let me grab it real quick. You can see I have a QR code there on the screen that you can scan, but I'm going to pop a link too. Those of you who are ready and you're like, yeah, this is awesome. I want in. I'll pop a link in the chat so you guys can sign up. Let me just do that real quick right now. Hold on. Because I know everyone's going to be like, this is awesome. Let's go. How do we do this? Uh, so let's go back. All right, let's try again. All right, let's get back to it. Okay, cool. Hopefully everybody can see that again. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to throw in the chat here because, like I said, I know people are going to ask. So I'm going to throw that in the Zoom chat right there as the link. But you can see there's a QR code. We're going to do Q&A as well too, so hang around. We're definitely going to do Q&A on any questions you guys have. Um, okay. So so I broke down everything you have to do over the 6 months, right? 72 videos is 3 videos a month or a week for 6 months. You get full access to the Thrive9 app, right? This has all of the 9 different, you won't do them all in the beginning, but there's 9 different functional medicine assessments. You complete the assessments at strategic points throughout the program. I'll tell you when. I've already kind of laid it out today. And these are going to personalize your experience, right? So your results are going to determine what we do. What's the supplement focus? What's the dietary focus? And where my attention is going to be guiding you, right? Monthly monthly group calls with me. These are live, they're recorded. It's it's me. You bring your questions, your assessments, your wins, your challenges. I will address all of them directly. And you'll also learn from other people that are there that have questions maybe you didn't even think of, right? This is all done inside of a private community channel. So I have an app, a separate app. This is not on Facebook, it's not on social media. It's our space, 24/7 support, right? The only people in there are people just like you have Hashimoto's doing this program. You can ask questions in the protocols. We can celebrate wins, direct access to me, right? You're not alone in this. 24, you can message me through the community. You can send me a private message 24/7. Now, 24, 48 hours for me to get back to you, especially if it's a weekend, but you will be able to message me directly through the community privately. But then we also have, so it's not on Facebook, gang. It's not on social media. So we have control over it. Direct access to professional grade supplements directly through my e-store. Everything I would recommend, pharmaceutical grade, third party tested, no heavy metals, no mold, no contaminants. These are not things you can get on Amazon. Okay. They're private labeled. I vetted all of them and take them myself, most of them. These are the same products I use in my practice with my patients, right? And they're kind of mapped out for each phase of the program. You're going to get a clear path forward, right? After 6 months, your assessments show that deeper work is needed. You need heavy metal stuff or advanced hormone stuff. Then there's advanced modules you can continue with after the 6 months, right? If you want more personalized support, you want to work with me one-on-one, you want a personalized plan, you want additional lab work, we can do all of those things. All of those upgrades are available anytime. All right. What's the investment, gang? It's $99 a month. You get all that stuff. Okay. It's less than a morning cup of coffee. All right. Now, you want to enroll? Let's do it. Let's get to work and you can start feeling better like tomorrow. There's a QR code there on the screen if you want to scan it. I know a lot of you are on a phone already watching this. So that's why I dropped in the chat the link, the direct sign up link. You can just click on that and literally sign up and you'll get put right into the program today. So you'll get immediate access to the Thrive9 app. You can start completing your baseline assessments. Your first modules will start. You'll start the first week of videos. You'll be added to the private channel immediately. So you'll get access to everything. I'm sure some of you, that's not what this info session is about, but I know there's already going to be some of you that email me and message me and stuff, and they're like, "This is awesome, but like I want it all. I want the hands-on, like one-on-one with you and testing and weekly one-on-one consultations and a personalized plan." Yes, I have, additional treatment plan tiers or options available for that. I'm happy to discuss those individually after today, but that's not the point of today. Um, but for everyone, this $99 program, signature program, is the starting point. It's where the clinical framework lives. It's where the healing begins. It's where all my clients are getting started now, regardless of what kind of service they're getting with me. So I want you to leave with this, okay? Then we're going to open up to Q&A. Your autoimmune condition didn't appear out of nowhere, right? It was triggered by specific factors, right? A compromised gut, hidden infections, inflammatory overload that exceeded your body's ability to deal with it all, right? Those factors are addressable, right? We can eliminate and deal with all of those things. Not with another prescription, unfortunately, that's going to suppress your immune system. Not with a 30-day cleanse that scratches the surface, but with a structured 6-month clinical framework that addresses each of these in the right order with enough time for your body to respond and with monitoring and measurement the whole way. Okay. You've spent enough time managing Hashimoto's. It's time to start reversing the things that are driving it. All right. I'm going to stay for Q&A and answer any questions you have. If you're ready to go, scan the QR code, click the link in the chat, and let's get to work. And your Thrive9 assessments will be waiting for you in minutes, right? Okay, gang. So I hope that was helpful for everybody. Let's get right to the Q&A. So if you have questions, I'm going to stay and I'm going to answer questions. If you don't have questions, we'll wrap it up. Um, but if you do have questions, please let's handle them. The easiest two ways. You can raise your hand. There's a couple ways. Raise your hand. If you look on the screen on the bottom, there's a little raise hand function. Okay. Raise your hand. I'll be like, oh, okay, Sandy, yes. What question do you have? You can put it in the Q&A. There's a Q&A button on the bottom of the screen. There's also a chat, so you can put questions in the chat, and I'll just rapid fire. I'll just answer them. So if you have questions, pop them in there. We already got one in the Q&A here from Laura. Do you do any testing? Not with this program. So we use the Thrive9 assessments. We use the app in the app. We use the Thrive9 assessments to help guide potential um, recommendations as far as like lifestyle changes, diet, and nutrition. I do testing. I do a lot of testing with patients on a one-on-one basis. So in this particular 6-month program, there's no testing involved. We're just building the foundation. it's across the board because whether we do testing or not, we still have to do the 6 month, like the things that we do in the 6 month program, we still have to do. So we still have to fix the gut. We still have to clear pathogens. We still have to decrease the inflammatory load. So we have to do all those things anyway, regardless of whether we do testing. So my one-on-one patients, we're doing testing. Okay, even while we're doing testing, we're still starting now with the 6 month program. Those are tracks that are running parallel to each other. So in this program, no, there's no testing, objective testing. In some of my other like patient programs, which again are more one-on-one, yes, there's absolutely testing involved. So we start on the 6 month program, and then we're doing individualized testing. We're maybe doing, well, most of the time, comprehensive labs, blood work, um, comprehensive stool panel with parasitology. So we're doing gut testing. We're doing organic acid testing, which is looking at all these different nutritional deficiencies, metabolic markers. I'm doing DNA testing for genetic issues, MTHFR, and a host of other things, and actually hormone testing. So I do comprehensive testing like that with my patients. But in this program, this is just foundational. This is just to get started. And honestly, a lot of people, that's all they want. That's kind of again part of the reason why I've developed it is I've had a lot of patients that are just like, I just want show me what to eat, show me what not to eat, show me how to take supplements, show me how to monitor this, like show me how to lay that foundation. Show me how to, I don't want the testing right away. I don't want the high level one-on-one with you right away. I just want to learn how to fix my gut. I want to learn how to get the inflammation down. I want to learn how to clear out all these pathogens. Like I want to learn how to do those things that we have to do anyway. And then, okay, down the road, maybe we'll see how I do, and then we can talk, um, like higher level services. Some people just did want that, honestly, and maybe they just couldn't afford it. I get it, like to work with me one on one, it's not $99 a month. Let's put it that way. It's worth every penny because it's literally one on one. Like we have weekly appointments one on one, and I individualize their care, and I do all their labs, and I review all their labs, and we totally personalize the plan and that kind of stuff. Some people don't want that. So my kind of long-winded answer to your question, Laura, is yes, I do testing. This 6 month program does not include testing. It includes the assessments on the app and all the guidance and everything. Um, so I'm having some people. I don't usually do this, but I'm having some people, um, you know, come to me and be like, "Well, all right, great. I want to get started with the 6 month program, but then can I just like do these couple of tests and then just have meet with you one on one, that kind of thing for it." I'm doing that case by case deal, but again, that usually doesn't get the job done. So you're welcome, Laura. So I hope that answers your question. I the this 6 month program is something that I think a lot of people want and need. Not that I think, I know a lot of people want and need and have asked me for in the past, and I never had it. So I had to figure out a way to be like, well, how can I help more people and have make it affordable for them and still be able to have them follow a structured kind of clinical um, framework that I use that I know works that that look, you guys know, right? You've Most of you watching this right now have seen what's out there. You've done other programs. You've done other discovery calls, which are sales calls in disguise. You've seen all the people out there spending lots of money on social media to basically have you schedule sales calls and sell you into 12 month programs that are six, eight, $10,000, where you meet with health coaches and you do this cookie cutter thing and everybody gets the same supplements and all that kind of stuff. I know it. Look, I know. I get it. I'm out there too. And I've spoken with tons of you over the years where, yeah, you came to me because you were like, well, what do you do? Like, what's your higher level personalized one-on-one program? And I would lay it out and they'd be like, wow, that's really great. And I'd love to do it, but you know, it's just not in the budget right now. And I get it. I get it. So I'm doing everything. That's why this program exists, honestly. And I'm being frank. you guys who know me by now hopefully know that I'm about as straight a shooter as it gets. So I've been working super hard behind the scenes over the last couple of months to be like, okay, well, this is already what I do with my patients anyway. How can I take that and apply it and put into a program that I can plug someone into and they can follow it with some support and some help, and then they can get better. They can start fixing these drivers that we talked about today and lay that foundation over a 6 month period and then go from there. You know, um, that's why this program exists. So, all right. Any additional questions? Q&A? I'm here. If not, we'll wrap it up. I don't like to, you know, if this is the first time you're seeing this or seeing me give any kind of workshop or talk, like it's not, I don't do fluff, I don't do testimonials, I don't do any of that nonsense that you guys have already seen out there. It's like, no, this is what you need. This is the information you need. Again, today's kind of a special info session, um, but I think this is a program that a lot of people need, a lot of people want, and can really help a lot of people. So I hope this was helpful for you guys today. And if you're watching this on a replay, and you have questions, just message me. I'm not hard to get a hold of. Um, you know, email me, reply to where, if I posted this on my Facebook page or something, just message me, private message me anytime. If it's an email, you're replying to an email, just reply. I read all my stuff. Um, so that's it, gang. That's the 6 month program. You can scan that QR code right there on the screen if you can. Again, some people are watching it on a phone. So I popped the link to sign up directly in the chat. Boom, you click that link and you sign up and you're in. You're doing your assessments, you're right in. You're in day one. So um, I look forward to seeing you on the inside. I don't have any other Q&A going on here, so that's no problem. We'll wrap it up. I hope everyone got a lot of value from today. And again, if you have any questions, just let me know.